for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
The LouieTeeNetwork is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Sunday Night Football overtime. Bucs, Cowboys, big game in the NFC, not necessarily for both teams. Cowboys were eliminated. Officially, they weren't making the playoffs. Their fate was sealed a long time ago, but they got hot. And if not for a crazy fluky play against Cincinnati, they could be sitting here at 8-7 right now, same as the Bucs. And who knows, right? They would have still been in this thing. They would have needed a lot of things to go in their favor, but they would not have been officially eliminated. But with the Commanders win earlier today, they were officially eliminated. But this Cowboys team has been playing really good football since they started to get some of these guys healthy. Michael Parsons, Deron Bland, who was one of the stars of tonight's game, among others who have come back from injury and really given this Cowboys team a boost. What's the other corner? I always forget his damn name. Jordan Lewis. All these guys came back here recently over the last month or so, and it's made a massive difference for this Cowboys defense. In particular, the defense was awful. The offense, I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this. I said this on the Commanders post-game show. Cooper Rush is better for the Dallas Cowboys than Dak Prescott. You take it how you want, right? You take that however you want to take it. But Cooper Rush doesn't turn the football over. Dak Prescott does. Cooper Rush isn't the most mobile guy. He's more mobile than Dak Prescott's ass is at this time of his career, at this point of Dak Prescott's career. And Cooper Rush knows that my job is to get the ball to my playmakers and let them do what they do. And Dak sometimes holds on to it. He takes bad sacks. He forces the ball into double coverage, triple coverage. Like, Dak is forcing the ball to dudes, CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, etc. And Rush don't give a shit. He's practicing with Flournoy and Tolbert. And so he don't give a shit who he threw the football to. If they're open, I'm going to get him the rock. And you saw that tonight. Flournoy had about 3-4 catches tonight. He'll throw the ball to whoever. And with Dak, it sometimes feels like he forces the ball to certain guys, and he'll throw bad interceptions and make bad decisions with the football. Cooper Rush, you think about all the interceptions that Cooper Rush has thrown this year. And I bet you most of them can be traced back to a receiver getting hemmed up, jammed up, contact. And Cooper Rush thought he was going to be in this spot, and he wasn't there because the receiver got delayed somehow. And the ball ends up going straight to a defensive back. Think about the Texans game. Think about the Bengals game. Like, these were picks that were thrown where he expected the guy to be here. They weren't there because they got contacted, and it ended up turning into an interception. He doesn't make mistakes where you go, bro, what were you thinking? Like, walk me through your thought process as to why you made that decision. You don't get those from Cooper Rush. Look, that shit might be a wobbly duck. It may not be a tight spiral, and it may not get there in the timing and the fashion that you would like it to, but the shit gets there. And he gives his guys a chance. And he, most importantly, because Dallas is good on special teams and defense, he doesn't turn the football over. And that's why. And look, they paid Dak $60 million. So there's no discussion to be had here. Dak Prescott's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I'd much rather play against Dak Prescott than Cooper Rush. I'm just telling you that. Because Cooper Rush, he's not going to turn it over. I feel like if you could get pressure on Dak, Dak fumbles, you hit Dak and the ball's coming out. He does not secure the football. For whatever reason, Dak fumbles the ball very easily upon contact. That's one thing. My dad always complains about it. My dad is a Cowboys fan. For those of you who don't know, Boss is a Cowboys fan. All right. And one of his biggest pet peeves with Dak is no matter what the contact, how little it is, Dak's going to fumble the ball, right? He's a fumbler. Then Dak's going to throw into tight coverage, or Dak's going to force it into double coverage, or sometimes triple coverage, or he's not going to see a defender and he's going to get picked off. And so Dak turns the ball over, point blank. And Boss has been adamant, hey, Cooper Rush don't turn it over. He ain't a better athlete necessarily than Dak. Well, what Dak was before some of the injuries and him getting older. He doesn't have a better arm. He's not a better, he doesn't have a better skill set. But up here, I think he's much more intact than Dak Prescott is at this point of his career. And it's cool to see Cooper Rush getting it done. He's now 9-4 as a starter with this 26-24 victory. But the job is still Dak Prescott, the $60 million man, or shall I call him the $240 million man? Whatever we're gonna call him, it's his job when he's healthy, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But the Cowboys, man, they've gotten hot. They've gotten hot. Winners of 3 out of their last 4. Or is it 4 out of their last 5 now, right? Because they were 3-7. They were 3-7 and left for dead. They beat Washington. They beat the Giants, beat Carolina, and now Tampa Bay tonight. And so the only loss in there is that Cincinnati loss, and they block a punt, and crazy nonsense happens, and they end up losing that game. But this is a team that you could argue is playing some of the best football of anybody in the NFL right now. I mean, I know it's crazy to say about a 7-8 team, but they're playing really confident ball. As you can see, they were hitting tonight, man. It was a physical game. Chris Collinsworth talked about that. But, they played with a sense of purpose, did the Cowboys. And I'm actually glad as a team in the division and the Cowboys being a family member, I want Mike McCarthy back. I want all of that circus to be back and intact next year. I'm afraid of them getting competency within the organization. Not that it necessarily matters with Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones and company at the top, as being the head of that snake. I don't know if it necessarily matters who the hell the head coach is, but good coaching might actually put the Cowboys over the top, and you're not getting that from Mike McCarthy and company. So I feel really good about them winning these games, keeping McCarthy in-house, and I feel good about Dallas being right where the hell they are so that they don't get a good draft pick, because they were trending towards a top 10 pick at one point at 3-7. Like, oh shit, Dallas might end up with like a blue chip player. The one thing that Dallas doesn't need, because they're accustomed to this, right? They usually draft in the 20s because they usually are a playoff team. But the last thing I need them doing, because I make fun of the Cowboys all the time, but here of late, they haven't been great in the draft, I will say. I think they've reached a ton. Sometimes they've allowed needs to necessarily dictate where they went in the draft, which is not the way you want to go about it. But then when they needed a running back, even though Rico Dowdle has been really good here of late, he got shut down tonight. Again, the Bucs are one of the best run defenses in football, so go figure. But, they didn't do anything at running back, and I thought they should have. They didn't do anything at defensive tackle in the earlier rounds. I think they waited till very, very late in the draft, if at all, to do something at defensive tackle. I thought they got cute. And, those were places that they needed to upgrade their team, and it affected them this year. The running back position wasn't any good until late in the season when Rico Dowdle fully took over, and the defensive tackle position has still been somewhat of a sieve for them, and they struggled to stop the run much of the season. But, some of that could be blamed on some of the injuries that they've had, so forth and so forth. But I digress. Even their first-round picks, Mozzie Smith, second-round pick, Luke Schoonmaker, some of these picks have not been ideal here over the last couple of years. I wasn't a big fan of the kid they took, Guyton, out of Oklahoma in the first round this year. And so you could argue that some of their picks have been questionable. Although Guyton isn't terrible, I wasn't the biggest fan of his coming out of Oklahoma. But that said, I just didn't want Dallas, because usually when they're drafting high, like Michael Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, they don't miss. And so I just didn't want them to be in a position where they could do that. And now they, more likely than not won't be. They'll be in that CeeDee Lamb range. I think they took CeeDee Lamb right around that 18, 19 range. That's where they'll be this year, more likely than not, when it's all said and done. But they were in the top 10 at one point. But McCarthy looks like he's on the way to being back. Mike Zimmer, all these guys were on one-year contracts that were due to expire at season's end. So we'll see what Dallas does. I would love it if they brought all these guys back on one-year deals. How ironic and comical would that be if they took the one-year deals that all of these guys were essentially on and said, hey, we're not, and we love the job you did this year, or we like the job, not love, but we like the job you did, and we believe in you. Here's a one-year deal to put you back on the hot seat once again next year. Here's a one-year deal to show you our gratitude and our appreciation for what you've done. Take this one-year deal and be lame duck coaches yet again next year. I'd love to see. I want to see, because I know the Joneses don't believe in, necessarily paying a guy and, not getting your money's worth. So I can't wait to see what these contracts look like. McCarthy's deal is up. Zimmer signed a one-year deal. All the rest of the coaches, essentially, a number of them are on one-year deals. So I can't wait to see what this offseason looks like for the Cowboys. But this is a big win tonight, man. Because, beating Washington was one thing, and that was a quality win on the road against a good opponent. But it was still trash. The Cowboys weren't good in that game. The Commanders just were awful, right? But they were good against the Giants. They were good against Carolina. Hell, they were good against Cincinnati, and they just made one mistake there at the end that ultimately cost them. But the question was, okay, all those other teams aren't playoff teams outside of Washington. What does this look like against a Tampa Bay team fighting for a playoff spot that's been playing good football? And as I said earlier, if I gave you a trivia question that asks you, who's the one team in the NFL that has beaten the Eagles, Lions, and Commanders this season, would you have guessed it was Tampa Bay? I mean, I could have removed the Commanders from the equation and just said, give me one team that has beaten both the Eagles and the Lions this season. And you would have been hard-pressed to come up with Tampa Bay unless you were following it closely. And so it just speaks to how good Tampa Bay has been at times this season. And this was a good measuring stick for the Cowboys as to, all right, so we've been doing all this shit, but, how well are we really playing? Well, this was the proof that they're playing really well right now with the 26-24 victory. I thought, I was almost certain Baker Mayfield was going to put them in the field goal range and they were going to win this game 27-26. When they scored that touchdown in such rapid fashion with so much time left prior to the 2-minute warning and still having 2 timeouts left, with the way they had been stopping Dallas's offense in the fourth quarter in particular, I was convinced they were going to get the ball back and they were going to go down and score, and McLaughlin was going to hit a field goal from about 53 yards out, and they were going to win this game 27-26. And they did everything, and then Rachaad White, who has had a fumbling problem this season, I know Bucs fans probably are not happy with Rachaad White because this is not the first time that he has decided to fumble this season. He has an issue with ball security. And of all things, he decided to grip the football like it was a sponge. He's got the shit out here all loosey-goosey. I'm like, bro, you of all people who have had fumbling issues, I bet you, and I can't confirm nor deny this, I got to get my crack staff on this to figure out how true this is. But I'm going to say this. I bet you a large sum of money, okay, that Rachaad White is in the top 10 in fumbles. I would probably even say top 5 in amount of fumbles by NFL running backs, starting running backs this season. But I'll stick with 10. That gives me a wider net, and I'm pretty sure I feel just about 100% confident he's in the top 10 in fumbles this year at the running back position. I think he's even in the top 5, though, because he seems to fumble quite often. And I'm not just talking about lost fumbles. I'm just talking about fumbles in general. But he's probably, if we were talking lost fumbles, he probably is in the top 5, right? Because he fumbles quite a bit, and they generally don't get his fumbles back for whatever reason. But he had the audacity to have a ball out here like this. Like, bro, you ain't built like that. Put that shit away, and you need to have 2 hands on that bitch. You got the nerve. You don't got the pressure points. You got the nerve to have it out here, holding that shit like it's a goddamn sponge, like you holding a mango or some shit. Put it away. You ain't about that life. And Deron Bland was like, oh, Really? Oh yeah. Let me take that shit. You don't want the football. Let me get that. You don't know what to do with that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that shit. Took it right from his ass. Give me them cookies. Yum, yum, eat them up. Yum, yum, eat them up. Give me them damn cookies. Took that shit right from his ass. But Cooper Rush, 26 of 35, 292. Again, no interceptions, a touchdown. Managed the shit out of this game, almost threw for 300 yards, didn't turn it over, and put the Cowboys in position to win the game. And that's why I think he's better for them than Dak Prescott. But another solid game from Cooper Rush, man. And unlike the previous 4 games that he's played in where he's gotten a consistent run game from Rico Dowdle had been setting career highs every week. He set a career high, I think, against Washington. And then erased that career high, set a new career high on Thanksgiving against the Giants. Ran very well against Cincinnati, didn't set a career high, but ran very, very well against Cincinnati, and then erased the career high that he set against the Giants on Thanksgiving and created a new one against Carolina last week. So Cooper Rush was getting the aid of a consistent run game, so he didn't have to do much. He had no run game, no assistance from the ground whatsoever tonight. He had to do it all by himself. And he did that to the tune of 26 of 35, 292 and a touchdown, and leading the Cowboys to 26 points and put him in field goal range multiple times. And Brandon Aubrey, what more can I say about Brandon Aubrey that hasn't already been said? He may have taken over the mantle of best kicker in the NFL. With Tucker's struggle this year, Butker being injured for a little while and having his own set of struggles, I think that mantle is up for grabs, and I think Brandon Aubrey has reached up and grabbed it with the way he kicks the football. A couple of 58-yarders that he makes look so easy and effortless, and then a 54-yarder. So 3 plus 50. I mean, no, that doesn't do it justice. 3 54 and 53 plus yard field goals. Let's call it that, because it was 54 and 2 58s. The guy's incredible. He's a weapon. It's what I call him. And he was huge for them, of course, with them winning this game by just 2 points. Aubrey was huge. But enough credit to go around with this Cowboys defense. The secondary was hitting. They had takeaways. Lewis with the crazy interception as the Bucs were threatening at one point with a deep ball. Obviously, Deron Bland with the takeaway on the forced fumble there at the end. They made plays, did the Cowboys defensively. They made plays when they had to be made, and they come away victorious in this game. CeeDee Lamb, 100-yard performance. He was really good, especially in the first half. Did re-aggravate that shoulder, so he didn't play a ton in the second half, which you could argue was a huge part of the reason why the offense bogged down in the second half. But still, CeeDee Lamb continues to be a factor for the Dallas Cowboys. They get it done tonight, 26-24. This is more about the Bucs not taking care of business, though. We can sit here and talk about the Cowboys till our face turns blue, but they ain't going nowhere but home, right? If you're Tampa Bay, you let a golden opportunity to control the outcome of this season slip through your fingers. You fought all the way back after a rough stretch when you had Godwin injured, and then Evans also went down, and you went through that tough stretch where you had to try to tread water without them, and you couldn't do it. I think you lost just about every single game that those two were out. Kansas City, and you had a tough loss to the Falcons. And I think there was one more in there that was a really gut punch loss. And you went to the bye week and you were struggling, and you came off the bye and you caught fire. Mike Evans came back, and it's always nice when you see the Giants on your schedule coming off of a bye. Isn't that nice? Isn't that cute? So you took care of business against them, got your confidence and your swagger back. It always helps when you see the Giants and then you see the Raiders, right? I mean, it doesn't get much better than that on the schedule. And so you took care of business and you got hot, and you caught fire. You should have lost to Carolina, right? I mean, we shouldn't even be having this conversation right now because you should have lost to Carolina, but you somehow pulled it out. And I thought you were going to do it again tonight. Win another game you had no business winning, but you found a way to get it done. But it wasn't in the cards tonight. But this was a blown opportunity if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's not over. Obviously, you still have 2 games left. So do the Atlanta Falcons. You really need the Commanders now. You need us. You need us to do you a huge solid. But we need that game very badly ourselves. So we don't mind doing you a favor in the process of taking care of business for ourselves. If it benefits someone else, so be it. But you just need one loss and you need to clean up. And look, you got Carolina and New Orleans at home in consecutive weeks to finish up. So in respective weeks, you should win both of those games and get to 10-7. And all you need is the Falcons to lose 1 game out of their final 2, and you'll win the division. But you took that opportunity out of your own hands. I'm not a big fan of having to rely on other people to do my dirty work for me. You want to put yourself in a position to be able to just win on your own, and that'll be enough. And you had done that. And then you dropped the ball tonight. And that's unfortunate. And I thought there was way too much pressure on Baker Mayfield tonight. Way too much pressure. And let me just start by saying this. Liam Cohen is a star. He's a rock star. And he's going to garner a lot of attention this offseason. He has done a masterful job with this offense, has Liam Cohen. Didn't know what to expect before the season started. They talked about him being at Kentucky a couple of times and being in LA with Sean McVay, and I really didn't know what to expect. This ain't college. This ain't the SEC, and Sean McVay ain't letting nobody call shit in LA but him. So I didn't know what to expect. But Liam Cohen has come in and made me a believer. This offense has been really good this season. They've done a great job of building around Baker and his skill set and putting him in positions to succeed. And I thought he did it again tonight. I thought the offensive line had a rough go of it. Too much pressure on Baker. That said, Baker does what he does best, which is extend plays, make things happen off schedule. But there were too many mistakes, right? Too many mistakes. Too many missed opportunities. Obviously, the turnovers were huge. Just too many opportunities left on the field if you're Tampa Bay tonight. A couple of penalties that were ill-timed. But when it's all said and done, pressure on Mayfield. I didn't think you were able to establish a consistent run game. You had your moments tonight where you weren't able to establish a consistent run game. Bucky Irvin had been killing it here of late, like probably averaging 120 a game the last 2-3 games. That didn't happen tonight, obviously. And then, like I said, Bake had to try to create because he was constantly under duress. It felt like he was always on the move. He was never able to settle in and get comfortable. And it led to a disjointed offensive performance tonight where it never felt like you were able to sustain offense. Even when you got into Dallas territory, a sack or a penalty would push you back and you'd ultimately end up punting. You just never could get into that range where you could at least get in the field goal range and attempt to kick. Seemed like you always had something go disastrous once you passed midfield tonight. So it was a tough performance for the Bucs. A lot of penalties too. On special teams, I thought in the second half, one of the biggest things that I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about, but the second half, you had lousy field position the entire second half. Lousy field position. I think you might have started inside your 10 at least 3 or 4 times in the second half. Bare minimum, 3 or 4 times second half. And you weren't able to dig yourself up out of that hole. But more importantly, you weren't able to make enough plays to flip the field position get 3 first downs, punt from the 40, and flip it and make Dallas now have to go 95 yards for a touchdown. You were never able to do that. You had a chance. You had a special teams player get down there. I want to say it was one of your backup tight ends, try to down it, throw it back into the field of play, but he stepped on the goal line while he was touching the football. So that made it an illegal touch. So you could never really pin Dallas and maybe see if you could flip the field position, get a stop defensively, and get the ball with great field position. And you got to credit Brian Anger, the Cowboys punter, for he kicked some bombs tonight. And you got to credit Dallas's offense. They didn't go 3 and out without a first down many times tonight. So even with all that said, the mistakes, Trey Palmer not misreading an opportunity, instead of him running across the field, he ran the other way. Baker throws it across the field. Penalties, drops, what may have you, right? Despite all of that, turnovers, you had the ball. Defense did what they needed to do. Ample time. All you need is a field goal. Baker fights his ass off, fights his eyeballs out, trying to avoid taking a sack, flips it to Rachaad White, and all he's got to do is get his little measly 3-4 yards and get down. And instead he fumbles, has the ball taken from him, and you lose. It's a tough existence if you're Tampa Bay. You fought, you scratched, you were down 9 most of the second half. And you finally get in the end zone, you cut it to 2, and all you need is a stop. You get the stop, you get the ball back, and you got a shot, and just like that, it's gone. That's rough. That's a rough existence. That's really rough. But you put yourself in that position. So can't blame anybody for the outcome of this game but yourself if you're Tampa Bay. You had no business giving Dallas the type of confidence you gave them in the first half. And you could see it early on when it was 10-0. I'm like, uh-oh. Dallas is getting that swagger again. You about to be in a damn dogfight now. You needed to jump these boys early at home and make them say to themselves, here we go again. Didn't do it. And you left that door. Left that door slightly ajar, and you already know the rest. So it is what it is. Cowboys get the win, 26-24. Now if you're Tampa Bay, you need help, and that's the worst place to be. I call being in a position of needing help at the end of the season being helpless. Nothing worse than needing to rely on somebody else. This is the worst time of the year to be scoreboard watching. You worked all of them weeks to put yourself in a position down the stretch in these last 2 weeks to not need anybody to do nothing for you. You might want somebody to win, but to need somebody is a whole different scenario. You work all year long, so you don't need nobody for shit at the end of the year. And you had that opportunity, and you blew it tonight. That's a bitter pill to swallow. But again, as I said already, you're not done, and this shit ain't over. And unlike you, Atlanta's playing a team that can do some damage. They had a pretty easy schedule down the stretch. This is a 1 game. And they still got family business against Carolina in week 18, so that's not a pushover and a gimme either. But this is the 1 game they got against a team that has more than 3 wins. They played the Raiders, they played today the Giants, and they got the Panthers at the end of the season. Panthers got 4 wins now. They just won today. But this is the 1 game they got left against the Commanders that's worth a damn. And so you still got a shot. Just take care of business. That's all you can worry about. Take care of your business and then see what happens. But you wouldn't have had to worry about this if you would have taken care of business tonight. So let's get to our first break of the night. And then we will come back on the other side of that get to the comment section. Let's go inside the odds. Brought to you by Bet US.
Inside the odds.
Looking for a new book this football season? Bet US has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year as long as you've been active within the last 6 months. And here's the big kicker. If you've never used BetUS before, you've got an opportunity to take full advantage of this promo code YouTube150, which will get you 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 when you use that promo code YouTube150. So these were the odds for this game. Tampa was a 4-point favorite on the road at Dallas. A golden opportunity to improve to 9-6 on the season that they absolutely blew. Screwed the pooch. Cowboys not only cover or not only beat the spread, they win outright. Right? Not only do the Bucs not cover, but the Cowboys win outright. And the over-under on this game, 48.5. Your final score was 26-24, so 50 points. So BetUS wasn't too far off with their over-under number. They were pretty much right there in the neighborhood. I think I would have taken the over there. Tampa Bay had been playing pretty well on offense. They scored 40 last week. Not that, Dallas's defense has been playing good, but not that damn good to stop Tampa from scoring over 20. And Dallas themselves have been playing pretty well on offense and been scoring roughly, 24 points or so. So I thought the number would have probably been over. But I get why they set it at 48. That's not a bad number at all, 48.5. But anyway, Dallas able to win outright as a 4-point dog. Here's the triple threat for the Dallas Cowboys here. Cooper Rush, 233.5 yards. Cooper Rush threw for 292 tonight. So in order for them to win, he was going to have to hit the over because of how good the Buccaneers rush defense is. So I would have taken the over there. Rico Dowdle, 72.5. I would have definitely taken the under, but he was one of the hottest backs in the NFL over the last month. So I can understand why that number was so high, but you got to take into consideration who the opponent is. Tampa Bay, they ain't going for that shit on the ground, and they didn't tonight. Rico Dowdle, I think at one point, was 10 carries for 13 yards at one point. So I'm not sure how well it went for him the rest of the way. My guess is not too well, but let's get the exact number on Rico Dowdle's night. Rico Dowdle, 13 carries, 23 yards. So it's pretty safe to say he didn't hit 72.5 yards, which I didn't think he would hit. I would have taken the under. That was easy money that they were giving away there at -113, which was why that number wasn't too great. But Jalen Tolbert, 19.5. I mean, that's a sad. Why didn't he put CeeDee Lamb up here? What are they doing with Jalen Tolbert? I guess maybe because CeeDee Lamb was on the injury report and they weren't sure if he was going to play. But Jalen Tolbert, 20 yards, really? Come on now. What are we doing here? Tolbert. Oh, would you look at that? Jalen Tolbert, 2 catches. Get this. 20 yards receiving, which is why I always tell you to buy the half point when you do things like this. Buy that half yard. Don't allow the 19.5 to get you. But 20 yards for Jalen Tolbert. So if you took the over, you would have gotten it. But if you took the under, you just got beat. And if you would have bought the half yard and you took the under, you would have pushed. But nonetheless, that's the Cowboys triple threat. Check out the BetUS prop builder. You can do some really interesting things just like this. You see how they put this little triple threat prop builder together here with the 3 players, quarterback, running back, receiver. You can do the same, right? Or you can do, two receivers and a running back, two tight ends, whatever you think, you can put together, you can do it. Check out their prop builder. A lot of fun. I've played around with it, and I've come up with some really good situations, and you can too, and get you some money in the process. So big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this stream. So let's get to the comment section, see what you guys have to say. And I've got my victory smoothie here. I need a sip of water. I got the hiccups. Let me let y'all in. So my family's from the Virgin Islands. So they do stupid shit. Like they had like stupid little rituals and customs they would do. And one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life, we laugh about it to this day, is we would always have brown paper, like from brown paper bags. So back in the day, you went to the grocery store, you get brown paper bags when you got groceries. They don't do that shit anymore. Like I lie. You go to Wegmans or you go to one of these stores now, they make you pay for your bags. So I'm cheap. The bags are like 5 cents or whatever. I'm not paying for no damn bag. So I bought the 99-cent reusable bags because I'm not paying for a bag at the grocery store. That's stupid. Not over and over and over again. I'd rather just pay for a bag 99 cents and just use that shit 8 million times. So, but anyway, they got the brown paper bags. Those are back. Like you get those at the store now again. But for a long time, you didn't see brown paper bags. And shits were obsolete. But we always had them at our house. My dad used to make, he still does make this thing called Johnny Cake. It's a really popular thing that you get in the islands, especially in St. Thomas and in places like that. Delicious. If you've never had it, you should try it. All it is bread, really. It's just flour that's fried, deep fried, but just delicious. You would love it. Anyway, so we always had brown paper bag, accessible, or brown paper, right? Like paper towels, but it was brown, whatever. So one of the rituals or one of the things that they had, like these old wives' tales that they would have, is that if you have the hiccups, you tear off a piece of brown paper or a paper bag, you wet it and you put it on your forehead and it's going to stop your hiccups. What kind of stupid ass shit is that, right? That shit never worked. And my mom used to do it to us as kids. You're like, yeah, put a piece of brown paper on your forehead. Like, what? Shit ain't going to work. It just made me think about it because I had the hiccups, but I digress. Anyway, let's get to the comment section. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent. I cannot assure you we're going to get to your comment, but it's going to give you a shot if time permits. But what will ensure that your comment is read is if you use the super chat function. That's going to not only ensure that your comment is read and reacted to, it's also going to send you straight to the front of the line so that your comment is read no matter how much time we have left in the show. So with that said, let's get to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. So we start off with Juan Gotti talking sports. My guy, Juan Gotti talking sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Juan Gotti writes, half game back at Green Bay. Can the Saints do us a solid? No. Not at all. No Alvin Kamara. No Chris Olave. No Taysom Hill. No chance. Okay. No chance. No Derek Carr. Don't hold your breath. They're going to get demolished on Monday night against the Packers on the road, no less, at Green Bay. They're going to get trampled over. That game won't be close. So, no. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. You got to hope that Minnesota next week takes care of business. But we got, again, it's all about us, right? Because no matter what happens, the Saints could do us a solid, and if we won't win next week, they could be right back in a position where they could, you know, get the 6th seed again. So we got to win. All right. I'm almost like, I want the 6th seed, but I'm almost over the 6th seed because in order to get the 6th seed, you got to win in week 18, right? I just want to end the playoffs. I don't want to play Jaden Daniels in week 18, chasing after a 6th seed instead of a 7th seed. Like, no. I would like Marcus Mariota and the rest of those guys that are in to win the game so we can have a chance at it. But I'm not risking my starters over moving up from 7 to 6, if that makes sense. So it chasing after the 6th seed forces you into, do I want to play? It makes you think, do I want to play my guys in week 18? Well, you got to get to that point first. And I'm not allowing myself to go that far. I'm just fixated on week 17 against Atlanta and clinching a playoff berth. That's all my mind is set on at this current juncture. You get past that, and then we can start playing around with those different scenarios of, do you play your guys versus don't you play your guys? Can you get the 6 versus can't you get the 6? If Green Bay beats Minnesota, you're probably dead anyway because they're not losing to Chicago in week 18. So you need them to lose to Minnesota because they're not losing to New Orleans today if you're on the East Coast. They're not losing to New Orleans today. They're not. So don't look for that solid, Juan Gotti. Don't look for it. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, JD took a dookie. Let's effing go. All over the Philadelphia Eagles. Indeed, he did. Took a nice squat. Copped a nice squat on them. He sure did. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, this is still the JD show. Salutes, brother. You know what it is. Big Money Sonny. Up top. We went up top a couple times today. 1 for a Terry touchdown. How's Atlanta looking like now? So they beat up the Giants pretty good. They put something on their ass today. A couple of pick sixes that they were able to get. Bijan Robinson had a day. That's what scares me the most about them. It's not the fact that they got a young quarterback that don't know no better who's going to come in and try to beat us. It's more about their run game and our inability to consistently stop the run. That's what scares me. Bijan Robinson is unlike most running backs in the league. There's only maybe 2 or 3 dudes that are quite like it. Like even Saquon ain't got the kind of agility that Bijan got. You know, Saquon will fall down, trip himself trying to do the shit that Bijan do. Like Saquon run on his tippy toes. He almost be about to fall down. You know, Saquon don't have the best balance in the world. Bijan's balance is immaculate. Like, he be doing all kinds of crazy shit, jump cuts and stop on a dime and cut back. And that shit don't bode well for our defense. I'm going to just be honest with you. That shit makes me nervous. So we'll talk more about the Falcons throughout the course of the week, though. But that's the biggest challenge that lies in front of us is their run game can be a sumbitch, man. It really can. But they're beatable, right? They don't have a great pass rush. Their defense is solid. It's not great. We can move the ball on these boys and we can score, you know. But they are opportunistic defensively. And if you make mistakes, like got guys like Jesse Bates who had a pick 6 today, you can't make mistakes around dudes like that. They'll take it away from you. So we got, like I said, we got plenty of time to talk about Atlanta, but let's just enjoy the night. Just give me the night. 2 nights, the night. Give me the night. So come on now tonight. GT7. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Chef P and DQ eliminated the former employers with 1 game. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Ain't nothing but a Jaden party. Yes, indeed. El Merco. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. El Merco writes, so we putting wet paper bag pieces on our heads to win playoff games, right, boys? According to my mom, yes. That is in order. Now, it's a little piece. It's just a little small piece. The piece be like this big, and you stick it right on your forehead, just right here. And that's supposed to stop the hiccups. Like, the hell are we talking about, Mom? What are you doing? Who told you this stupid ass shit? You know what else my mom told me? Ice don't carry germs. So for years, I walked around thinking you could drop ice all on dirt, you could drop dirt on some shit, pick it up. Well, don't have any germs. It's ice, and just put it in your mouth, and it was fine. I was a full-blown adult before I realized who raised you? Who told you that bullshit? Ice doesn't carry germs. I love my parents, man. I always tell people who I love, don't be like me, be better than me. That's especially true for my parents. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Duncan writes, you guys still suck. Luck is a last tonight. Did you think today was luck? Or yesterday was luck? Did you think it was luck? I didn't think it was luck. I didn't think 5 touchdown passes was luck. 36 points with having 5 turnovers. You thought that was luck? That's debatable. Ask Peyton Manning or Debating Manning. Ask Debating Manning if that was luck. That's debatable. That was a good one. Come on, Duncan. That was a good one, right? That was a good one. Anyway, I digress. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Thank you for being, my guy, Joe Rockhead writes, did you get any break after our post game? I did. Took a bath. Made me, as you can see, made me a smoothie. Got to eat a little something. Not much. But I got to enjoy the rest of the Cowboys game. I played catch up. I paused it at halftime because I went to halftime with you guys. And then I paused it, went and took a bath, came back, and I was able to kind of watch the game and fast forward. It was great. This puppy right here is a lifesaver. This little remote. Boop, boop, boop. Get you through, from the end of one play straight to the next play. So I was able to catch up, rest, feeling good, recovered, refreshed, and ready to go. Black Al B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Black Al B writes, what it do, Lou? What's going on, Black Al B? Fresh off your win today. Sammy took Daniel's nickname today. Sammy Dimes is on fire. The TDs to Jettas, man. Thing of beauty. I'm so proud of Sam. I'm about to call him Sam Howell. I'm so proud of Sam Darnold. Man went from seeing ghosts to potentially seeing the #1 overall seed in the NFC. Who would have thought? It's hard to train your brain after you've seen what this man has gone through in his career. It's hard to train your brain to say, hey, you can get got by Sam Darnold. Like, don't you bullshit around. And it's getting to the point now where when y'all get in the late game situations, I'm expecting Sam Darnold to make plays to get y'all to win. He did it against Arizona. He did it again today. He did it against the Bears. Like, I just expect him to make plays now. Is that not wild? Is that not weird? Is that not crazy? But that's what I expect. That's crazy. But he's earned it, man. He's playing at a different level right now. Didn't see it coming. I really, truly didn't see it coming. But good for him, man. Good for him. So we will get to one more break, and then we'll come back on the other side, and we'll get to whatever other comments exist before we get out of here.
These results, people are out here making free money, man. They're making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. I know it sounds crazy. Hear me out. The secret? They're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor. Here's how. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds differences across sports books. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you put $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent, San Francisco, on DraftKings, you're guaranteed no matter what to make $50, win or lose. It's that simple. With the OddsJam's mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands monthly. And to get started, use the code LouieT for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during the trial, and if you don't, cancel with just one click, no questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com, use the promo code LouieT, and start making money the smart way.
So let me tell you something about OddsJam. So I had somebody in the comment section the other day, and let me tell you, this is one of the things I love to do in life is laugh. I think laughter is one of the greatest things ever created. I can't get enough of it. I love to laugh. And one of the reasons why I love y'all so much is because y'all make me laugh. And one of the things y'all make me laugh about is y'all call me Louie Pusha T. and that's funny to me. But I laugh at it because it's funny, one, and it's clever, but two, it assumes that I'll sell anything, right? Give me a product, give me something, give me a pitch, I'll push it. Nah. If y'all only knew how much stuff I turn down that's not right for my brand, that I don't think is something that I could sell to y'all. And I don't believe in every product. If I don't believe in your product, I'm not going to try to, like, I wouldn't push something off on y'all that I wouldn't do myself. Like, I'm not a massive gambler, but I put a few dollars down. Like, OddsJam is dope because that arbitrage, I've never seen anything like it. And gambling, the one thing, it's called gambling for a reason, because ain't nothing guaranteed to you in gambling. With that arbitrage, you're essentially guaranteed to make money if you do what they tell you to do. The question is, are you patient enough to do what they tell you to do and be consistent with it? Because there's money to be made there. Like, it's a real good product. When they gave me the pitch, I sat through a 30-minute pitch listening to them talk, because at first I was skeptical. And when they went through everything, I'm a very analytical guy, and I was like, yo, this shit is crazy, man. So you telling me, because this, you don't think about it like this. If you go through they got over 1,000 different books, offshore, onshore, all these different types of books, all over the place. And they compare odds. So you might be getting -115 for Tampa Bay on this book, and it might be +230 on another book. Well, which one you want? Which odds you want? +230 or -115? Well, they compare it all for you, and they set it up so you can go to the one for +230. Get your bang for your buck. But in the same breath, if you bet on one team and you bet on the other team, so you had your bet, you bet on both sides, but the odds for one is greater than the other, obviously, and you find the two books that's going to allow you to still make money, you win, right? It's crazy, but that's why I believe in OddsJam. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all attention. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section. See what y'all talking about. Big loss for the Bucs and a continued hot streak here down the stretch for the Cowboys. Winners of 4 out of 5. Bucs costly loss, dropped to 8-7 on the season, losing to the Dallas Cowboys 26-24 tonight. Let's see. John Wynn says, I don't really care that the Vikings beat the Seahawks in Seattle today because if we play Atlanta or LA, it's going to be our easiest first round win in the playoffs for Seattle this year. Hey, John, let me enlighten you on something here, bro. You ain't in the playoffs. I don't know if you noticed or not. Your Seahawks ain't in the playoffs, and as it stands right now, you ain't going to the playoffs. Now, here's the good thing about your situation. You play LA in week 18, and all you got to do is be one game behind them to have a shot. But right now, you're one game behind them. And if you lose again, you're 2 games behind them. And it ain't going to be no week 18 game, division on the line, et cetera, et cetera. So you got some work to do, my friend. You talking about easy first round games. You got to get in the tournament first. My guy. Got to get in the tournament first. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Big Money Sonny writes, JD dipped his nuts on them tonsils. What are we doing here, Big Money Sonny? How does he not hit on every play, Lou? When you one of them ones, man, you do some spectacular shit, and it makes people like yourself go, damn, how does he not do this every play? He's so talented, man. We're very fortunate to have him as our quarterback. Really, truly are. Ebad Shamim writes, I want the Cowboys to win enough games now, especially since they're out of the playoffs, so Jerry can extend McCarthy. Oh, that's happening. I thought that was already a lot before this game even took place. This does nothing more than solidify it, but it was going to happen. They could have lost this game and the remaining 2 games on the schedule, and I still think McCarthy would have been back. The fact that the Cowboys are even sitting here with 7 wins, going into tonight's game with 6, is a testament to Mike McCarthy and his team not quitting on him. And that's all you ever really want to see from a head coach if you're an owner is, hey, does this coach still have the ear of his players? Are they still willing to run through a wall for him? Are they still they out of the playoffs, but they still playing at maximum level? The Cowboys were playing like the playoffs depended on this game tonight. And that's a tall tale sign that he hasn't lost the locker room. And so Jerry isn't one to make knee-jerk reactions. And he really don't want to have to go find a new head coach either. So, because it's hard to find dudes that's going to put up with his bullshit. So, if I don't got to go out there and do all of that, if I can just bring the whole gang back, they're going to do that. And that's what they're in a position to do right now. So, yeah. Let's see. Red Wing 01 writes, if I'm reading it right, Atlanta and Tampa Bay can both make it in over us with tiebreakers if they win out and we lose. Seems the message is clear. Win next week and lock up our spot. Facts. So here's the thing. Tampa Bay already owns the tiebreaker over us. So let's be clear. Tampa Bay nor Atlanta can win out and get in over us without us losing out. We got to finish at, those 2 teams can only finish with 10 wins, right? Atlanta can only finish with 10 wins. Tampa Bay can only finish with 10 wins. We're already at 10. So they can't just win out and own the tiebreaker over us. They need our help. We got to lose out too. So that's an equation there that also requires us to do our part in that. Now, Atlanta, they're in a position where they can control their situation a little bit better because they play us. But that win today was huge because we don't win today and we lose to Atlanta next week. Now we don't control shit. We'd be right there in that same boat with Tampa Bay and Atlanta where, yeah, those two teams could win out and we could get got. But we could lose to Atlanta next week and still beat Dallas in week 18 and still get in, right? And I'm going to just tell you right now, with the way Tampa playing, and they playing it's family business down the stretch for them. Granted, it's at home. Last time they were at home, they played a shitty game against the Raiders. If they were playing anybody else, they would have lost, including Carolina or New Orleans. They would have lost. They was playing the Raiders, so they got away with that shit. They don't clean up some of that shit, they'll lose. And it's family business. And you know how they go. They was down. They got in a slugfest with New Orleans. In New Orleans. I want to say they were up 20-0 in that game, and then New Orleans scored 24 unanswered points, took the lead, and then Tampa Bay then scored like 24 unanswered points of their own and won the game going away. But I only bring that up just to tell you that New Orleans ain't a pushover, and they should have lost to Carolina the first time. And Carolina ain't gonna be a pushover. And that's family business. The Bills were struggling with the Patriots today. I don't know if you saw that. They won 24-21. I looked up. Their score was 10-7, I think, or 14-10. And they were heading to halftime, and the Bills was trailing. I was like, what are you doing, Buffalo? It's like, man, chill, bro. You know how this shit go. I was like, I know, but what the hell you doing? It's like, you know how shit go, man. It's family business, bro. We gonna win, though. But that's how that shit go. Yeah, you know. I can tell you this: Baker Mayfield is good. He ain't Josh Allen. Bucky Irvin and Rashad White are cool. They ain't James Cook. So anything can happen, right? But I said all that to say this, Red Wings. We control the outcome of our season. Neither one of those teams do. All we got to do is win one of our final two. All of us would prefer it just be Atlanta next week so we don't have to worry about going down to the wire in week 18. So I don't even want them to think about potentially flexing our game and making it something that it doesn't need to be. Let's just take care of business this week. Let them flex Detroit and Minnesota and put that in the, final game of the regular season spot. And let's just enjoy being in the postseason and enjoy the final regular season game together. We don't even need that shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that. Which was your last part of your statement, which was, hey, let's just take care of Atlanta and let's put all that shit to bed. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Don Battery, been a member for 7 months. Truly appreciate you. Writes, Hurts is the excuse. Hey, Lou, all they had to do was beat us was to not let Daniels serve up 5 TDs over easy toast and coffee. They couldn't do it. They could not do it. All the number one defense in the NFL had to do was stop little old Washington, who they reduced to 18 points. And if you let them tell it, garbage time points. The last time these two teams played. Instead, they let us double up that total and scored 36. All they had to do was stop little old Jalen Daniels in this lackluster offense featuring Olamide Zaccheaus, Jamison Crowder, and Terry McLaurin, and De'Ami Brown, and Luke McCaffrey. That's all they had to do was stop us from scoring 5 touchdowns. That's it. Number one scoring defense in the league. Number one overall defense in the league. Number one pass defense in the league. It shouldn't be hard. But they couldn't do it. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, back then they didn't want us. You know the rest. Now we hot. They all on us, Big Money Sonny. They want us on prime time. They want a piece of our quarterback. Back then, they didn't want us. Now we hot. They all on us, Big Money Sonny. Lou, big shout out to an OG Joe Rockhead. You know what it is. Big shout out to Joe Rockhead, man. That's his favorite track. I said back then they didn't want us. Now we hot. They all on us, man. You know what it is, Big Money. Let's see. Where we leave off at? All right, we was up in here somewhere. Yep, here we go. Samuel S. says, I don't want to have to get to Dallas with our season on the line, bro. None of us do. Take care of business this week, and none of that is relevant. Don't have to worry about going to Dallas and playing them and none of that shit. This is what it's about. Take care of business next week. Rocky D. So if Tampa lose one more game, Washington is automatically in regardless of Washington outcome the next two games, correct? Correct. If Tampa Bay loses any of their final two games, same with Atlanta. Doesn't matter. Either one of those two teams loses one game, we're in. Because again, they need to win out just to get to 10, right? They're at 8-7. Both Atlanta and Tampa are both at 8-7 right now. So Dallas actually did us a solid tonight by beating Tampa Bay. So neither one of them can get to 11. We can still get to 11. They can't. The most they can max their season out at is 10-7. So any losses by either one of them and they can't get to 10. So again, somebody's got to win a division between the two of them. So we don't care about both of them. We just need one of them to not be able to get to 10. So if either one of them lose, which we can take care of Atlanta this upcoming week, right? By beating them, we would essentially do the dirty deed ourselves, right? We would do the deed by putting them out of their misery. So that's why we just say just beat Atlanta. But we can get to Sunday night. Tampa could have already lost to New Orleans, and we could already have clinched a playoff spot. But the likelihood is they're going to beat Tampa Bay again, or New Orleans, excuse me. Don't look for anybody to do any favors for you. It's what I've said already. Take care of your own business. But that's correct. Tampa Bay or Atlanta loses a game down the stretch. Doesn't matter this week, next week, or this upcoming week in week 17 or 18, we're in. But if we win, we're in. That's all. That's the only thing you should really be concerned about is if we win. But clearly, Tampa Bay plays before us. We play on Sunday night next week. So theoretically speaking, we could already be in due to a loss by Tampa Bay earlier in the day. But the likelihood is that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Rafael Del Luna writes, there are some big hits tonight. Loved it. That was a very physical contest between the Cowboys and the Bucs. Very, very physical. A lot of physical play. That's how you like it. If you're a football fan, you like to see it without question. Jason Jarrett, can we still win the division? Yes, we can. But it would take a miracle on 34th Street. Because you would have to win out. That's the first part of that equation. If you're the Commanders, you would have to win out. And then the second and probably the biggest part is you would need the Eagles to lose out. They could lose next week to Dallas. That's not out of the realm of possibility. As a matter of fact, depending on what happens with Jalen Hurts and his health, I'd say that that's actually a distinct possibility. The problem is he should be back by the time they get to week 18, if need be. But more importantly, it really don't matter if he play or not. They playing the Giants in week 18. Giants ain't beating no damn body. They're the worst team in football right now. They're the only team in the NFL that's non-competitive no matter who the opponent is. They stink. I shouldn't say no matter who the opponent is. They were competitive against the Saints a couple weeks back. The Giants are ass. Absolute garbage can juice. And there's no way they're beating the Eagles. Not with the Eagles needing to win. No way. So, yeah, we can still win the division, but that loss to Dallas, we keep going back to that loss to Dallas. We would have had the playoffs clinched already, and we'd be one game back with 2 to go against Philadelphia if we would have beat Dallas like we supposed to. And not only do we need Philadelphia to lose, they got to lose in the division, which their last 2 games are against divisional opponents, but they got to lose because we right now have a 3-2 record in the division because we lost to Dallas. We swept the Giants. We just split with Philadelphia, and we lost to Dallas. So the Eagles' only loss in the division is to us. They've already swept they've already beaten us once, Dallas once, and the Giants once. They're going to go for the season sweep against Dallas and the Giants. So they're probably going to end up 5-1 in the division. So, we probably blew our opportunity when we lost to Dallas, to be honest with you. But I digress. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Joe Rockhead, writes, my new favorite song is JD Ain't Going Nowhere So You Can Get to Know Him. Hey to the love it, dog. Our dog's on top. Big Money got jokes. I see your jokes. I heard your jokes. Okay, I heard your jokes. You heard your jokes, Big Money Sonny. Hey, I heard your jokes. Let's see. Ray Reyes writes, my man Lou, we got that monkey off our back against winning teams. I don't care how we got it done. Confidence booster. You think we win? You think this win could propel us for a big run? We'll see. We got to avoid the big letdown. That was a big emotional win. Now you got to come back and do it again next week. Another obstacle and hurdle that I want to see this team clear, because it's one thing to have a big emotional win in week 3 against Cincinnati on the road and then not come home, stay on the road and go out there and take care of business against Arizona, which was a big deal for me. But it's another thing to do it against, quote unquote, a big dog, or as Dan Quinn, head coach Dan Quinn calls them, a big, let me see. Let me make sure I don't get this right. A heavy hitter. So you want to be a heavy hitter, you got to be the heavy hitter. You want to be a big dog, you got to be a big dog. We just did that. But that was a Division I. That was a big deal. I told you there was a lot of weight being put on this game amongst the coaches and the players. A lot of energy was expended today, emotionally and physically. Lost some guys, hamstring injuries, etc. Now you got to fill the tank back up and do it again on Sunday Night Football against a hungry, desperate Atlanta Falcons team. So, yeah, it could propel us, but I want to see how they handle this amount of success again, and can they close the deal? Can they wrap up? They got a golden opportunity to take care of business. Can they do it? Can they do it? Jason Jarrett says, Crowder, Brown, and McLaurin on the field at the same time are becoming a problem for defenses. And just when it was becoming fun to watch Diami on the other side, just like that, he has a hamstring. Don't know the severity of it, but it exists. And he did not finish the game. So it makes me think that it's something significant enough that he couldn't return. So now we got to see what that situation looks like with him and Marshawn Lattimore. But yeah, they were starting to, pose a bit of a threat. But now we'll see what it looks like. And it might be Luke McCaffrey up. It may be KJ Osborne. Who knows? Who knows? Rafael Del Luna writes, still can't believe that Cowboys defender got the interception. Yeah. That was a hell of a catch by Jordan Lewis. I still don't know how he came down with that. It looked like it was a touchdown. I assumed that it was a touchdown. But it wasn't. It was a pick. That's when I thought Tampa was going to lose the game, when that pick happened, because they needed to score. You could kind of feel the time was becoming a factor, and that possession was going so well for them. And any points there, field goal, whatever, would have been great. And then to throw an interception right there, very costly. But in saying that, they got the stop immediately after that, drove it right down the field, scored the touchdown, got the stop again, got the ball back, and all they needed was a field goal. And then the fumble happened. So, Tizzy Bang, been a member for 38 months. Salute to you, Tizzy Bang, who writes, was that the same hammy for Lattimore? Don't know. I couldn't tell you right now. We'll find out more tomorrow. My guess, yes, it's my guess. It was. But I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, so I can't tell you for sure if it was or not. Can't confirm nor deny that. But I'm no doctor, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn, but that would be my guess that, yeah, it's the same one. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Is that double up for you? Nope, you had already doubled up. But I'm going to just do it anyway. I don't know if I said it the last time. Double up. Double up for my guy, Joe Rockhead, but that's your third one. What's the over-under on Commanders having 4 primetime games in 2025? I say 5 scheduled plus a late season flex equals 6. Well, I already told you the Jaden Daniels effect and what that brings to the table. It's 5 on site. That's no question. This is a quarterback-driven league. And if you got one of them ones, they're going to showcase you. You're going to get your 4 with no hesitation. And for the elites, when you one of them one, you get 5 normally. So I'm trying to think how many times we see Lamar Jackson this year. Let's go to the Ravens real quick. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this real quick. This will be the last thing we do, and then we'll get out of here. So week 1, first game of the season was Ravens and Chiefs. So that's 1, right? Bills Ravens was Sunday Night Football. That's 2. Ravens Bucs was a Monday night. That's 3. Bengals Ravens was a Thursday night. That's 4. Ravens Chargers was a Monday night. That's 5. Ravens Steelers was just on a Saturday. That's 6. And they about to play on Christmas Day. That's 7 for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, right? All right, let's go to another team with one of them ones. Let's go to the Bills and Josh Allen. I don't have to do Mahomes. We already know he done been on prime time like 9 times this year. I don't even got to do him. Let's do the Bills real quick. They played the Dolphins in week 2. That was on Thursday Night Football. That was the Tua game where he got hurt. They played the Jaguars the next week on Monday Night Football, where it was the doubleheader where they destroyed them. That was the same night the Commanders played the Bengals. Big beat down. That's 2. Played the Ravens the next week on Sunday Night Football. So 3 weeks in a row, the Bills were on national television. I don't need to keep going, right? That's 4. I mean, that's 3 though in straight consecutive weeks. Let's see. They played the Jets on a Monday night. I want to say that was a Monday night. Yeah, Monday night in New York. That's 4. They played the Bills on Sunday Night Football in the snow, what, 3 weeks ago? That's 5. And so those are the 5 Bills games. I'm trying to think. I'm making sure they weren't on Thanksgiving. They weren't. So that's 5. Like, that's the going rate for one of them ones. It's 5. Mahomes been on like 9 times. He just played on Saturday, and he going to play again. He played on Black Friday. He just played on Saturday, and he played on Christmas. That's 3 right there. The number one, the first game of the season Mahomes was on. That's 4 right there. Like, they played the Bucs on a Monday night. That's 5. I don't need to go no more with Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. You see where I'm going with this. If you one of them ones, let me just check with Joe Burrow real quick. He the last one that I think I need to check. Let me check Joe Burrow real fast. And after I do him, I'm gonna rest my case after that. So, Burrow had a Monday night game against the Commanders in week 3. That's 1. Had a Sunday night game against the Giants. That's 2. Had a Thursday night game against the Ravens. That's 3. Had the Monday night game against the Cowboys. That's 4. And they got an NFL Network Saturday game coming up this week. There's your 5th game. So, again, the remedy, the recipe is undefeated. If you one of them ones, you're getting a 5-piece. We got one of them ones. We're going to be on 5 times next year. Bet your bottom dollar. Okay? And I'm going to take it a step further. We playing Dallas on Thanksgiving. I want no parts of that shit. But they about to put our ass on Thanksgiving next year. I want to know why the Eagles don't never play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. It's either the Giants or the Commanders. It ain't never the damn Eagles. Get the Eagles some of this shit. Damn, they need some of this too. They playing the goddamn division just like the rest of us. Let them get a piece of this Thanksgiving work. It's always the Giants or the Commanders. Y'all ain't never figured that shit out yet? You never asked yourself, why is that? It's bullshit. Anyway. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Writes, JD ripped them cheeks. There you go with that bullshit. Pause. I don't want to hear about Jaden's noggin. That number 1 D got fricasseed, Lou. Dark toast. We really got going that top 5 now, Lou. Yeah, now you can say that shit. Top 5 dead or alive. Now you can say that shit. And it's applicable now. Or applicable, depending on who you ask. Now you can say that shit. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Sunday Night Football Overtime. Cowboys pulled the upset and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were leading the NFC South coming into tonight's contest, but now find themselves on the outside looking in as they are now tied atop the division with the Atlanta Falcons, who own the tiebreaker, having swept these Buccaneers earlier in the season. So, very costly loss for the Buccaneers. Cowboys have now won their 4th game in 5 weeks and are playing really good football right now. Good enough to have saved the job of head coach Mike McCarthy, defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, et cetera. Cooper Rush continues to really shine. There was no aid of the run game for the first time during this 5-game stretch where Cooper Rush has played really well and the Cowboys have been winning. For the first time, there was no run game for him to lean on. There was no crutch. He had to do it himself, and he did. 26 of 35, 292, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And the Cowboys win the game 26-24. Big loss for the Buccaneers. Too many mistakes. A couple of costly turnovers. One thrown by Baker Mayfield in terms of an interception. Another big fumble at the end when they had the football with a chance to get into field goal range. And Rashad White fumbles or has the ball taken from him, ripped from his clutches by Deron Bland as the Cowboys hold on for the 26-24 victory. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys next time. I want to give a quick shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this stream. Looking for a new book. BetUS has you covered. Go over to betus.com. Use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% sign-up bonus on your first two or your next two deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. See you guys next time. We're getting ever so close to Christmas. I really appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow and Tuesday. Commanders Kings should be Monday, among other things. But obviously, it'll be a helter-skelter week. We'll talk about it. If not tomorrow, Tuesday. But you'll know the schedule. I'll give you. I'm not leaving the office though. This is the first time in a long time that I'm not gonna be gone for Christmas. So I'll still be here. I'll be talking to you guys pretty much every day throughout the course of the week. I may not work on Christmas, but there are 2 games, so I may work. We'll see what happens. But in any event, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you guys next time. God bless, and good night.